I've been in the army since 2014, and I'm going to share an anecdote that still makes everyone in my battalion laugh. At the time, things were a mess because a new second lieutenant named C arrived with a superiority complex. One of those guys who thinks no one deserves to look him in the eye. He came in acting like he was the toughest, the best, and he looked down on us. Honestly, he wasn't a good leader, and to some extent, we even hated him. Also, he had a strong Oaxaca accent, so since there's always a nickname in the army, he ended up being called Oaxaca. The guy had a favorite punishment that we were sick of hugging a tree, but for us, it was always upside down. It was always the same. He acted like he didn't know any better and gave us a hard time like that for about a month. With that, until our turn to patrol, he joined us for a change. That's when it showed how soft he was, because the first thing he did in the patrol car was turn the air conditioning all the way up. He wanted a confrontation, said he wasn't afraid, that he was ready for anything. Ever since he said that, I thought this guy is going to get us in trouble. The veterans told him it was nothing nice to be in those situations. Even the first sergeant advised him to calm down, but the guy told him to shut up with his "I'm a second lieutenant." That ended the discussion, and in the end, he got what he wanted. On our fourth outing, we went to a house where supposedly there were armed people. Oaxaca already had it in his hand, taking off the safety before we even got there. We were searching for a while until suddenly a white pickup came out from a corner and started shooting at us from the windows. Back, a chase broke out, and in the end the truck crashed. The crash was so severe that half the truck entered the house. After all the chaos, we had to cordon off the area and provide security, and there we were, each one doing his own thing. When one of my old-timers says to me, "Did you see Oaxaca's face?" I turned to look at him and no way. He was pale, swallowing hard, with a lost look in his eyes. In fact, I don't even remember seeing him shoot. Sergeant Primero went to the Rapida to get his identification because the public prosecutor's people had arrived. He opened the door and then made a disgusted face and yelled, "Who the hell took a shit?" We all turned to look, and Oaxaca just looked away. That was enough to make it clear what happened. After that, we had to get back on the Rapida, and it smelled terrible. Rolling down the windows didn't help with the stench. Oaxaca shifted uncomfortably, unable to sit still, until First Sergeant couldn't take it anymore and asked him directly if it was him so he could help, and well, he admitted it. He was so scared he crapped himself and didn't want us to reach the battalion, so nobody there would find out. We were heading back and past a Sunday street market. Oaxaca didn't want to get out, but he was so uncomfortable he had no choice. We asked him his size and bought him a pair of pants and one of those cheap American t-shirts. What we really spent money on was air fresheners, sprays, gels, everything, to see if we could get rid of the smell. The closest bathroom was at a Gorditas shop. Two really pretty girls let us use their bathroom, which, luckily for them, had a shower. There we were, two soldiers guarding the bathroom door, while Oaxaca was taking a shower. I took the chance to get one of their numbers, and I still talked when he came out. He didn't stink anymore, but his uniform smelled so bad that one of the girls even threw up when she left. My antiques and the first sergeant were quickly spraying him, like that was going to help, but it didn't work at all. Still, on the way back, the stench continued. The worst part was when we reached the battalion to turn in the quick one, people there shouted, "Who the hell pooped in the truck?" So, even though he didn't want anyone to find out, well, you can imagine the story. It spread all over the battalion. The girl I spent time talking to confessed to me that her bathroom stank for about a whole week after that. That's the famous story of Second Lieutenant Oaxaca. My story happened in 2022. When I went out to the streets, the first place they sent me was Zacatecas to reinforce security. The first thing I thought was, are they going to send me as cannon fodder? as soon as we arrived. Go out and support the displaced people, the vehicles. I was left speechless, wondering what displaced people is he talking about. It didn't take long to understand. They sent us to the town of Palmas Altas in Jerez, and that's where I learned the truth. The residents were being evacuated because several cartels were fighting for control of the area. Everyone wanted that town because it's a key point due to its highways. The situation was so serious that no police remained there. No one wanted to do it. There were many more cartels and they were completely overwhelmed. When we got out of the vehicles, the first thing I saw was everyone helping, carrying mattresses, clothes, whatever was possible. At that moment, someone grabbed me by my right arm. It was an elderly man with crutches and a trembling voice. He asked me to get his grandchildren out of there, to take them home. He asked me. That request stayed with me. Most of the people leaving, I saw whole families leaving farmers, some by car, others on tricycles, donkeys or horses. Elderly people in wheelchairs, many barely able to move, lost everything including the machines they worked with. The land was stolen by the same criminal groups. The next step was to organize a convoy of 20 civilian vehicles that we would escort together with the National Guard. Although we got many people out, families later returned to the battalion for help recovering what they couldn't take. Of course, we helped them, but there was always a risk. When clash between cartels broke out, we had to wait for things to calm down. Before going on those trips, I saw things, houses already taken over by the criminals. It was the gang that saw us coming and abandoned the place. The cartels scared them with forced recruitment, extortion, curfews, and in the worst cases, direct threats. Not everyone left. And even though we tried to be tough as soldiers that first night, many of us broke down in tears because of everything we had seen. Because no one prepares you to leave your home and no one prepares you to see an entire town torn from its land. I, who had just arrived with the uncertainty of where I would serve, ended up living through the hardest things. People who were not to blame for anything, expelled from their own homes, wondering what wrong they had done to deserve living like this. And that's when I understood that our job wasn't just to carry a rifle, it was also to carry the stories and the pain of all those people. I'm a Marine infantryman, and once I had to go out on an operation together with that mission Kuachik. Was direct. Presidential order. They sent us to Zacatecas because supposedly there were hitmen from the 4 letters there who were being trained by army deserters. It was also said that a big boss was hiding around there before we left.
If I see anyone with a cell phone or communicating, I'll handle them myself just like that.
No messing around. And you quickly understand that you don't mess with those guys. There were 9 trucks and 2 Black Hawks above us. Everything was silent, just hand signals. Nobody spoke. And when we got out on foot, that's when we ran into 3 hitmen patrolling the helicopter. It flew low and made noise, so we took advantage. They brought them down in seconds, giving no chance to react. We kept moving forward and reached the camp. Several of the deserters were still wearing the army uniform, even holding the damn FX-05 in their hands. They were guys who once swore the same oath as us, but now they were fighting on the other side. They weren't amateurs, they knew how to move, how to take cover, but they didn't expect that we already had them surrounded. Suddenly, The Black Hawk flies by for its first sweep. They took down about 10 of them fast. When we went in to check the area, we found several lying there, but not all of them were dead. Some were pretending to be asleep. Our medical staff approached one to check on him, and the bastard tried to pull something fast. His weapon, he didn't even get to lift it because a Kuachik took him out right there. Do you understand now that even the wounded are a risk? There were others who, honestly, when they saw us, would kneel with their hands up crying, begging us not to kill them. And the deserters we caught alive, those guys really crapped themselves because they knew what was waiting for them. In the end, there was the smell of gunpowder, wet earth, and blood. The camp looked like a slaughterhouse, and we just stared at each other with blank looks on our faces. That night, nobody said a word, but we all knew that a piece of each of us was left there. Honestly, those things aren't in the reports. They remain among those of us who were there. And even if you act tough, those images never go away.